The 49ers have discovered some brand new contributing players in preseason game number one. We'll talk about that coming up next, but we are brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Two spots, Corte Madera and Emeryville. They're open from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. Say hi to Damon. Say hi to Mary. Tell them the Krug sent you. All right, let's talk a little bit about it. It's exciting week one preseason game against the Raiders. And it was exciting from not a game plan standpoint and not a competitive standpoint. The Niners got routed, and it was ugly. But you know what? Sometimes in the midst of an ugly game, there is a silver lining. And the silver lining in this game was that the 49ers are discovering all sorts of new players that they did not have last year that are going to be significant players for them going forward. Let's go through who they are. Ronnie Bell looks really good. The receiver from Michigan, the 7th-round pick, he's got great ball skills. He can be a return man. He can be a sure-handed receiver. He made a perfect catch on a flat dime from Sam Darnold. Ronnie Bell is a new receiver who's got a great chance to be a Niner and to have a nice little career with the 49ers. I'll give you another one. Marlon Davidson. Marlon Davidson went to Auburn. He's a 300-pound interior tackle who's got really outside defensive end skills. He can rush the passer. He's got great quick feet. He was really good on a 49er D-line that struggled. Marlon Davidson looked really strong, making plays against the run, very active hands, shooting gaps, moving his feet. Loved what I saw from Marlon Davidson. Jair Brown prevented a touchdown on a nice little run that the Raiders had. I think it was Sincere McCormick. Might not have been. It might have been another back, but it was definitely one of the Raider backs. And Jair Brown, basically tackled him out of bounds. Jair Brown looks like a nice player. 3rd-round pick. Wasn't on this team last year. Watch for Jair Brown. He's getting nothing but better. That's just a couple of the guys. But how about the linebacking core? D. Winters and Jalen Graham. I'm going to do a video on this later this week. The Niners have had some amazing inside linebacking duos. Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman in the Harbaugh era were special. Right now, Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw might be the best combo backer tandem in the game today. And guess who's coming up behind these guys? D. Winters and Jalen Graham. D. Winters against the run, you can't go east and west against D. Winters. He's wears 53. He goes sideline to sideline. He's got sub 4.5 speed, and it shows. Jalen Graham is fast and instinctive, and he can get from point A to point B in a hurry. He looked terrific in this game, and it's only confirmed what he's looked like all summer. Both those guys are players. Deshaun Jameson had a very patient 38-yard kickoff return that was negated by a holding penalty against Cam Latu. But Jameson's patience and dynamic nature in the return game, combined with his ability to play the corner, brand new player who's going to help him on special teams and help him on defense. Wasn't even on the team last year. How about Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold's on his 3rd team in 6 years, and yet Sam Darnold looks good with the 49ers. That ball to Ronnie Bell on the sideline was a flat-out dime, 37-yard handoff. Just absolutely dropped it perfectly in the bucket. It's one throw. I don't want to overreact, but Sam Darnold, it looks like he's going to have a career renaissance with the 49ers. Ilm Manning. According to Pro Football Focus, Manning had 0 pressures allowed in 17 snaps at left tackle. Niners have a real problem. They don't have a swing tackle. But, man, Ilm Manning has impressed me since the OTAs. He's 6'2", 295 pounds. The ideal left tackle is 6'8", 330 pounds. So he's not what you want as a left tackle. But he played his whole career as a left tackle at the University of Hawaii, and he played well at left tackle in this preseason game against the Raiders, and the Niners don't have a lot of options. And a nice talented young offensive lineman who can play guard, center, and has experience at left tackle and allowed 0 pressures in 17 snaps in the first preseason game. That's a nice little find right there for the 49ers. So Ilm Manning has been tremendous, and he's been a new find. So I'll give you a couple more that really stand out. Quantrez Knight was on the practice squad last year. This guy's a really, really underrated player. And if Isaiah Oliver doesn't get it going as the slot corner, Quantrez Knight will take that gig. Quantrez was the alpha in the Bruins secondary. He wore 24. He was fantastic down at UCLA. He's played every spot in the secondary. He's played strong safety, free safety. He's played the nickel spot. He's played outside. He's played the slot. He can play corner. He can play, he can do it all. He can play all the spots. In a lot of ways, Quantrez gives the Niners kind of a younger version of what Dante Johnson gave the Niners for years, and that is a DB who's got enough length and talent and athleticism and man-to-man cover ability and desire and intelligence to play any spot in the secondary. So I think Quantrez has got a great shot to make the team, and if he continues to play the way he did in this game, he's going to play. So Quantrez, what a player he is. And the last guy is, it's amazing what the Niners get out of defensive ends that other teams cast off. Chris Kocurek is amazing. He turns, guys into much better players, and they go elsewhere and they get paid. Arden Key blossomed under Kocurek. Went to Jacksonville and got paid. Charles Omenihu blossomed under Kocurek. Went to Kansas City, got paid. Jordan Willis blossomed under Kocurek. Went to the Raiders, got a nice little deal with the Raiders. Ebukam blossomed under Kocurek. He got a free agent payday from Indy. And when the Niners signed Clelin Ferrell for $2.5 million, I wasn't sure exactly what he was going to give the 49ers. And if you watch him in practice, it's not like Clelin Ferrell jumps off the page. But Brian Baldinger made the point today, and he's totally right. Ferrell looks rejuvenated here in San Francisco. He said the latest reclamation project for Kocurek in San Francisco is Clelin Ferrell. He just looks different. Now, look, you can't beat inside. You can't get beat inside if you're an offensive tackle, but I didn't see that with the Raiders, that quickness right there. He was talking about the play where he beat Heron inside. Now, he's going to have a hard time running the loop and playing outside as far as Ferrell getting to the quarterback. He doesn't have a lot of speed, but he's a technician. He can play the run. He's got a motor. He knows how to play. He's competitive. He's got some moves. He can knife back inside. He's a solid NFL defensive end. So just looking around at the 49ers in this game, it was a preseason game. They got routed. It was a preseason game that it wasn't particularly close. But if you look up and you're like, well, wait a second. People are always talking about it. What's their window? What's their window? Well, the window's never going to close if they keep adding good talent. I mean, that's the bottom line. But just looking from last year to this year, they didn't have Ronnie Bell. They do now. They didn't have Marlon Davidson. They do now. They didn't have Jair Brown. They got him now. They didn't have Clelin Ferrell. They got him now. Deshaun Jameson, Ilm Manning, Sam Darnold, Quantrez Knight, Jalen Graham, D. Winters. A lot of good young talent that really shined. And to me, at the top of that list is Winters and Graham. Winters and Graham look like a lightning-fast combination linebacker duo that's going to wreak havoc in the NFC for years to come. So, you know what? If you see John Lynch walking around, you see Adam Peters walking around, you say, "Hey, man, Larry Krueger's shouting you guys out on YouTube," because those guys should be shouted out. They are doing a hell of a job on day 3 of the draft and after the draft and in free agency and college free agents and street free agents and veteran. I mean, they're building up the back end of this roster. Everybody knows the stars. You got McCaffrey, you got Debo, you got Ayuk and Kittle and Trent and Bosa, and you got stars. Ayuk is going to be the next one who blossoms. But you got stars, lots of stars in this football team. Warner, Greenlaw, Bosa, Hargrave. They got a lot of stars. But what's really interesting is the fact that the depth of this roster continues to get bolstered by day 3 picks and astute free agent pickups and under the radar type moves. And this Raider preseason game, the first takeaway was, man, the Niners looked awful. And the second one was about, the quarterback struggled. And that just sucked all the oxygen out of the room. But when you take that film out and you go through it and you watch all 4 quarters again, you're seeing young players and new players from other squads that are veterans flash and show that they're going to be part of this team this year and maybe a significant part. So to me, that was my big takeaway. Man, the 49ers, yeah, they got routed by the Raiders, and it was ugly. But the more important part of that game is, man, they've discovered quite a few young players, and this roster is going to remain one of the deepest, most loaded rosters in the entire league. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to all you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.